Hello and welcome back to Stitch Chemistry, the channel where I share the results of my yarn experiments. In this video, I will be sharing 8 full skein stitch swatches for Bernat blanket yarn in the color Cozy Cabin. For these swatches, I used 5.3 ounce skeins and the recommended size 8mm hook. First, let's take a look at the single crochet swatches. I ended up making 2 swatches in this stitch because I noticed while making my first swatch that the sections of green were very small. I checked the other skeins I had and their green sections were larger, so I decided not to use the skein with short sections of green for any more swatches. Here you can see the length difference between the 2 swatches. On the first swatch, I could only get 1 stitch per green section, while in the second swatch, I could get 2 or 3 green stitches. You can also see from these pictures that the textures of the skeins were different. The second skein had fuzzier yarn, which made the stitch definition less clear. To try and make the sizes of these swatches easier to compare, each swatch has 30 stitches per row. The single crochet swatch had 34.3 rows, and the finished rows measured 14 by 16.5 inches or 35 by 42 centimeters. I also included all of the skeins' weights for these swatches. Although the skeins are listed as being 5.3 ounces, all the skeins I used weighed slightly more than that. I wanted to include the actual skein weight because the weight will affect the size of the swatch. The moss or linen stitch swatch ended up exactly 39 rows. The measurements for this swatch are 13.5 by 20 inches or 34 by 51 centimeters. It's difficult to see, but inside the red circle, a red stitch marker is marking where there was a factory knot in this skein. I always mark any factory knots because they can affect the layout of the colorway. Because this colorway has short lengths of color, this knot didn't really affect the colorway layout. I ended up using 2 skeins to make these swatches, so all swatch photos that came from this skein also have the red circle showing the location of the factory knot. The half double crochet swatch had 23.9 rows. The size of the finished rows was 15 by 15.5 inches or 38 by 39 centimeters. The double crochet swatch is 17.3 rows, and the size of the finished rows is 16 by 16.5 inches or 41 by 42 centimeters. You can see this swatch has a bit of color pooling. The colors move up the swatch in zigzag stripes. Next, we have the triple or treble crochet swatch. When I make the triple crochet swatch, I split the swatch between the classic and linked versions of this stitch. In this swatch, rows 1 to 6 are linked triple crochet stitches, and rows 7 to 12 are the classic triple crochet stitch. As you can see, the classic version of this stitch is much wider than the linked version. The linked section is 14 inches or 36 centimeters wide, and the classic section is 17 inches or 44 centimeters wide. Here is a close-up of the different triple crochet stitches. The linked triple crochet, which are the rows shown below the red line, don't have any gaps between the stitches, which is why those rows aren't as wide as the classic stitch, which leaves large gaps between stitches. Each row in the granny stripe swatch has 10 clusters of 3 or 30 stitches per row. This swatch is 16.25 rows, and the size of the finished rows is 16 by 14 inches or 41 by 36 centimeters. This swatch also has color pooling, this time with vertical stripes of color in the bottom half of the swatch. This classic granny square swatch does not have any chains between the clusters. The swatch is 8.5 rows, and the size of the completed 8 rows, which are the rows shown inside the red box, are 14 by 14 inches or 36 by 36 centimeters. The solid granny square swatch is 7.9 rows, and the size of the completed 7 rows, which are the rows inside the red box, are also 14 by 14 inches or 36 by 36 centimeters. Here are all 8 swatches together. Please note that these are not adjusted to be accurately sized in comparison to each other. If you like this colorway or have a favorite swatch, please let me know in the comments. If you would like to see what other yarn experiments I get up to, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching.